Okay, so I had uploaded a couple of videos and they got took down immediately. The other video that has this article in it is 14 minutes, and I know a lot of people do not want to read that long. I just wanted to show y'all proof about it being a bioweapon, and now I'm showing you how it was in China, how it started in Canada, and how someone stole it and took it to China and mutated it, and they had told us that it was a mutated version of the coronavirus, or SARS, SAR, and then the COVID-19. So many different names for it. So, it says that last year a mysterious shipment was caught smuggling a coronavirus from Canada. Now, if you if you read this whole thing, you will understand a lot more than you think. It's not just about the coronavirus. Now, listen. If you actually go back and look, the coronavirus it came out, affected so many people. I think it was 2003, and then again in 2016. So I think this is whenever, everybody kind of seen what it did. Now the pictures below are going to be of the man's lungs, okay? And it's an Egyptian doctor, and he isolated and identified previously unknown coronavirus from his lungs. After routine diagnostics failed to identify the causative agent, he contacted Voucher, a leading virologist at a medical center in Rotterdam in the Netherlands, for advice. So as you can see, and here you can see that there's something there. Now we know that it affects the upper respiratory, okay guys? Now I'm not going to read this whole thing to y'all, but if you need a moment to stop and read it, please do so. Please pause it and read it. So it's telling you here that he used a broad spectrum, and they called it the pan coronavirus, real time. And I uploaded a video kind of explaining pathogens and all of that, but it was took down. And it says that method to test for distinguishing features of a number of unknown coronaviruses known to infect humans. Now, you have to understand that they're showing it that it occurs in bats, and then it goes to bigger mammals, and then we eat the bigger mammals, and that's how we get infected. This was turned into a bioweapon, and what everyone's saying is a lab tech was patient zero and all of that. But why are they leaving people? Why did they wait so long for people to leave? Yeah, they were checking for infected, but they wanted people to get infected. Just like the cruise ships. If they would have got people off those cruise ships and let them dock a lot sooner, that many people would not have been infected. That infection rate for a cruise ship, that is horrible. And it's because they kept them on there for so long. So it was acquired by a scientific director, Dr. Frank Plummer. So Frank Plummer was recently assassinated in Africa. I do have that as well. I'll do that in another video, okay? So the virus was reportedly stolen from the Canadian lab by Chinese agents. And up there it talks about how the Chinese agents was working in this Canadian lab. So it arrived at the facility on May 4th, 2013. Now, there was an outbreak, I think, 2003, and I think the other one, might have been 2016. Like I said, I'm not real sure. I did have all this up in my head, but I've been doing so much studying and researching, it's hard for me to remember everything, guys, so stay with me. So, it came from a Dutch lab. The Canadian lab grew up stalks of the virus and used it to access diagnostic tests being used in Canada. Now, a lot of people talk about how they're benefiting so much from this, and they're spending so much money, and Right now, Japan doesn't even have enough they don't have any mask, and the value of the face mask have went up a lot. So it talks more about how they work to see which animal species could be infected with this new virus, a new mutated virus. And then it talks about research was done in conjunction with the Canadian Food Inspection Agency National Lab. So that is food inspection with a virus, not just the coronavirus, but why would the Canadian Food Inspection want to be doing research? I mean, think about it, guys. So, and also the National Center for Foreign Animal Disease, which is housed in the same complex as the National Microbiology Laboratory. Here's a picture of it. I'm going to try to keep this video short, guys. That's why I'm not going to read it all to you. So, it talks about how they have a long time offering. Guys, I want everyone to watch this because this is very, very informative. This is really, an article everyone needs to get their hands on. I will try to leave a link in the description box. If not, it'll be in the comments. So, if you see something on here and you want to click on the blue stuff, you can. So, the event caused a major scandal with the biowarfare experts questioning why Canada was sending lethal viruses to China. So, in March of 2019, the mysterious shipments. Now, in the other video that I just uploaded, it talks about how they had already knew about this outbreak, and one of the 8 doctors wanted to tell everybody, and they wouldn't tell nobody, and that is one reason why it got huge. Now, my personal opinion, right here it tells you the event caused a major scandal. And I'm telling you, my personal opinion, they wanted to do this and let this loose and let a lot of people get infected. There's a lot of people posting videos on this subject, and there's a lot of people talking about other things that they don't know nothing about. And then there's a lot of people talking about conspiracy theories with this. And I talked about it being released as a bioweapon, and I showed you, there's a video on here. It's only like 3 or 4 minutes long. You can see where even a news agent talks about it being a bioweapon. And here you go. This tells you everything you need to know. Now, this is a video you can watch, but 2 of my videos just got took down, so I'm not going to play this due to them taking down my video. They might take this down. I hope not, because the 14-minute long one, I don't know if anybody will even wait to the very end to see this, because this is at the very end. So, now, this woman and her husband both were scientists, so along with her husband and another biologist and members of her research team, is believed to be a Chinese biowarfare agent. Now, she was the head of the vaccine development and antiviral therapy sections in the special pathogens. Now, a lot of things can really happen whenever you start tinkering with pathogens and you start messing with a virus that's already pretty bad. Now, an upper respiratory virus, think about how bad that would feel on you. Now, there's a lot of people that don't even show symptoms and just fall over dead, guys. There are people that are carriers and don't get hurt by it whatsoever, but they pass it. Even wearing a hazmat suit and everything, people don't understand. It's not just your eyes, your nose, your ears, and your mouth. It's also, dude, you have like little tiny pores and holes all over your body, sweat glands. I mean, it's so easy to get infected. Now, like I said, if anybody wants to pause and read this, you can. It talks about where she gets her degree and what year she graduated. And she was affiliated with the Institute of Cell Biology and the Department of Pediatrics and Child Health of the university. So, not engaged with studying pathogens. There she is at work, I guess, with her pathogen study. I don't know. Yeah, the Chinese biological warfare agent working at the National Microbiology Laboratory in Canada. So, now, these people had planned this, but a shift took place somehow since 2006. She has been studying powerful viruses in Canada's NML. The virus shipped from the NML to China were studied by her in 2014. For instance, together with the viruses, and I'm not even going to try to mess up those viruses. It talks about how she mixed them and which ones she mixed. So, infiltrating the Canadian lab. Okay, so she is married to another Chinese scientist, also affiliated with the NML, specifically the Science and Technology Corps. So, he is primarily a bacteriologist who shifted to virology. The couple is responsible for infiltrating Canada's NML with many Chinese agents as students from a range of Chinese scientific facilities directly tied to China's biological warfare program, namely. And then here you go. There's the names, and then here she is with her husband. Okay, so all of the above aforementioned facilities collaborated with them within the context of Ebola virus, and the Institute of the Military Veterinarian joined a study on the Rift Valley fever virus too, while the Institute of Microbiology joined a study on the Marburg virus. Marburg. I don't know if I said that right. Noticeably, the drug used in the latter studies has been earlier tested successfully by the Chinese Academy of Military Medicine Science. Okay, so also something I want to talk about right now is they also, in the other video, I'm not sure if it's been took down or not, but they talk about in a couple of the articles how Israel military was the one behind all of this. So originally a Japanese patient registered in China already in 2006 against Ebola and additional viruses. However, the study by her are considerably more advanced and apparently vital for the Chinese biological weapons development in case coronavirus, the Ebola, I don't even want to try to say all the names, guys. So they're all included in therein. So we could not just have an outbreak of the coronavirus, but the Ebola and the rest of those. So the Canadian investigation is ongoing, and questions remain whether previous shipments to China of other viruses or other essential preparations took place from 2006 to 2018, one way or another. Here's the 4. Okay, guys. Now, they also collaborated in 2018 with 3 scientists from the U.S. Army Medical Research Institution of Infectious Diseases. And then here it talks about Maryland, and it says they're studying post-exposure. So, what happens after you've been exposed for 2 Ebola viruses and I guess a Marburg virus in monkeys. Most of the time they talk about animals. They're actually doing this on actual humans. So, when it says monkeys, I think, you know, a man or a woman, humans. A study supported by the U.S. Defense Threat Reduction Agency. So, here we go when we're getting into how they created it. Okay, so it was already a strand of the coronavirus, and it has been mutated, which means that they tweaked with it with all these other viruses to make it as lethal and spread like it is. So made at least 5 trips over the school year 2017 to 2018 to the above mentioned Wuhan National Biosafety Laboratory of the Chinese Academy of Sciences, which was certified. Okay, so as we go on down, coincidentally, I don't want to talk and read all of this. See, and they talk about how it was located only 20 miles away, the seafood market, which was the the epicenter of the coronavirus outbreak. So this is where they're telling us the outbreak actually happened. I done a video on this. They had bigger animals housed in the back, like they had a porcupine, they had a deer, and all of this, and they're saying, this is whenever they were saying that it came from a bat, and then a mammal must have ate a bat. I don't know. It's one of my videos that says mature, graphic, stuff like that on it. Okay, so as you get into this, it talks about the biosafety laboratory is housed at the Chinese military facility. It is also linked to the China's biological warfare program. It was the first lab in the country designed to meet biosafety levels, level 4 standards, the highest biohazard level, meaning that it would be qualified to handle the most dangerous pathogens. Now, like I said, I done a whole video on pathogens and it got took down. Pathogens are very lethal if they are used by the wrong type of people. So the lab was operational for global experiments on BSL-4 pathogens. Okay, so you don't, like I said, I did a whole video on pathogens. If you want to research your pathogens, it would help you a lot to learn about how they actually made this into a bioweapon. So after a laboratory leak incident of SARS, which is the coronavirus, in 2004, the former Ministry of Health of China inhabited the construction of prevention laboratories for high-level pathogens such as SARS, coronavirus, and an epidemic influenza virus. Okay, so like I said, there was another outbreak. There was 2 other outbreaks, like I said before, but one was a different strand, and then the one that was, I guess it says here 2004, that was one strand, and then another one I think was in 2016, that was a different strand, and the one that's now is a mutated brand new strand. Okay guys, so 3 different strands of the SAR, sorry, my bad, SAR. So the Wuhan Institute has studied coronaviruses in the past, including the strain that causes severe acute respiratory syndrome, which is SARS, H5N1 influenza viruses. Okay, now if you go into all of this, now if anyone has COPD or lung or anything like that, this is going to really affect them extremely hard. Now, if you read right here, it says researchers at the Institute also studied the germ that causes anthrax, a biological agent once developed in Russia. So they're telling you right there that anthrax was a biological agent that once they had developed in Russia. Okay guys, I know that this is a lot and it's already been like way too long, but I want everyone to really see this now, right there. Okay, so the coronavirus has been studied in the Institute and are probably held therein. A former Israel military intelligence officer who has studied Chinese warfare, he said SARS is included within the Chinese bioweapon program at large and is dealt with in several facilities. Hold on guys, I know it's very long, it's longer than the other one and I didn't realize that. I apologize. So a senior in the biowarfare. Okay, so like I said, if you want to really get into this and read this, go ahead. It talks about how they are using pathogens and they're weaponizing them, using the cutting edge technology, growing investments in bioscience. They're using gene editing and other cutting edge technology. Now, people don't understand this. They don't want to realize that technology and the AI is so much more advanced than what we really know. We probably know about 1% of what the internet and the AI and the 5G is actually capable of. That probably 1%, if that much. It can mean an offensive agent or a modified germ let loose by proxy from which only China has the treatment or vaccine. This is not warfare per se, he said, but what it's doing is leverage the capability to act as global survivor, which then creates various levels, yes, exactly, and biopower dependencies. It makes them have a vaccination because they created it, and they're not just going to give them to anyone. It's going to be completely outrageous. Like now, the masks, people, like I said, in Japan, people don't even have masks anymore, and they're doubling and tripling the cost of the masks. They are benefiting hugely off of this. People had to get planes. I mean, think about all the money that is going on. People that were coming out and trying to tell the truth about how it was the Communist Party behind it, how they were trying to shut all their people up. One guy died. One guy, and like I think 2 guys went missing. One was killed. One woman I put in another video, and it was took down. It was took down, and I'm telling you right now, guys, this stuff is getting very crazy. So China's Academy of Military Medical Science have actually developed an Ebola drug called JK05, but little has been divulged about it or the defense facility's possession of the virus, prompting speculation its Ebola cells are part of the China's biowarfare arsenal. Okay, so they said Ebola is classified as a Category A bioterrorism agent by the U.S. Centers of Disease Control and Prevention, meaning it could be easily transmitted from person to person, would result in high death rates, and might cause panic. Now, they didn't let out about the coronavirus, at all, when they should have. And I guess they thought people would start panicking, and they already have. But the way they are treating this, people need to know the truth about it. People don't need to be watching the news and actually believe that those numbers are right about the infected and the deaths. They are nowhere near right. Okay, so it says a deadly emerging pathogen that could be engineered for mass decimation. This means that they could, like what they did. Okay, they done it on their own country, but there was a lot of people there in other countries. Other countries did get infected. The United States was one. There's a list of them. I've provided that before, and I think I provided it in my last video. So I'm letting you know now that all they have to do is, 1 or 2 people get it, and that's what they want. They want it to spread like wildfires. So if you listen and read every bit of this, it talks about China's biological warfare program is believed to be in an advanced stage that includes research, development, production, and weaponization capabilities. Its current inventory is believed to include the full range of traditional chemical and biological agents with a wide variety of delivery systems, including artillery, rockets, arsenal bombs, spray, and short-range ballistic missiles. Weaponizing biotech. Okay, so now this is where it talks about the military-civil fusion, and it says it has highlighted biology as a priority, and the People's Liberation Army could be at the forefront of expanding and exploiting this knowledge. Now, I don't know if they will take this down or not, but I'm hoping that everyone will read this, okay? And it talks about how looking into promising intersections with other disciplines, including brain science, supercomputing, artificial intelligence. Since 2016, the Central Military Commission has funded projects on military brain science, advanced biometric systems, biological and biometric materials, human performance enhancements, and new concept biotechnology. This means we all knew China was way ahead of us when it came to artificial intelligence, AI, 5G, all of that. We knew they were so far ahead of us, but they're talking about already advancing human performance. They're talking about advancing all of this stuff. None of us have any idea of how advanced they actually are. So in 2016, a researcher published a dissertation research on the evaluation of human performance enhancement technology. So they are doing research with human performance enhancement with technology. Basically, transcendence, merging us with the AI, trying to get us better at performing and doing whatever. Basically, Iron Man, if you want to look at it that way. So which characterizes CRISPR-Cas as one of 3 primary technologies that might boost troops' combat effectiveness. So they are telling you here that they are working on this human enhancement technology for the military people. So soldiers, They're doing it for soldiers. And so they're wanting it to boost the troops' combat effectiveness. The supporting research looked at the effectiveness of the drug modafinil. Modafinil. I don't even know how to say that. Sorry, guys. It's right there. Which has applications in a cognitive enhancement and at a transgressional stimulation, a type of brain simulation. So we're talking about basically putting them in a brain simulation, which also contending that the great potential. So also it talks about as a military deterrence technology in which China should grasp the intent of. So the initiatives. Sorry. You're making me mess up. You're making me nervous. Sorry, guys. So anyways, in the development. In 2016, the potential strategic value of the genetic information led the Chinese government to launch the National Gene Bank, which intends to become the world's largest repository of such data. It aims to develop and utilize China's valuable genetic resources to safeguard national security and bioinformatics and enhance China's capability to seize the strategic commanding heights. So basically, you're looking at an AI telling AI or something telling China's soldiers what to do, what not to do, taking out some of the competition with pathogens that are lethal that they have mutated, came up with, and then they have human enhanced people with artificial intelligence or something like that. They believe that they are in a simulation. Honestly, if you want to think about this, think of the third movie of what is it called? Logan, what's that movie called? The three movies, not Hunger Games, but the other one, Divergent. The third what's the third Divergent? Divergent. What's the third movie called? Anyways, in the third movie, Insurgent, whichever one, it's in the first one. They take what they have as the military and the cops, whatever, in their little, community. They take them, and then they all take a pill, and then they get switched on, and they're just going. Now, like it said, it can put them in a virtual enhanced reality while they are commanding the body. Who knows? But this is exactly what this is telling you. So this is very important, and I hope that everyone watches this. Chinese military interest in biology as an emerging domain of warfare is guided by strategists who talk about potential genetic weapons and the possibility of the bloodless victory. This is killing people and winning a war without killing them. Like back when we've came such a long way since World War I and II, with a little gun that you'd have to put gunpowder in and then poke it with a stick and then have a huge knife at the end of it and run up to each other and stab each other. So this is like silent wars with silent weapons. And genetic weapons, they have been collecting our genes and everything and our DNA for such a long time. That's why the 23andMe and the Ancestry thing, you saw every person using it on YouTube. You saw every person using it on Instagram. They had kids doing it, promoting it. Everybody was doing it. So, they've been collecting all of this stuff. And don't think it's just China. It's Israel as well, because Israel is over there helping. Our country is a part of it. In the last video I did, I showed where they didn't want to announce anything until after Trump had signed a paper on the 15th of January. So the story has been published in full in one of the world's largest Chinese news networks. So this is why people in China and Japan are screaming and shouting from the rooftops, trying to get their voices heard, because they know what's going on, but they're coming and finding them, they're killing them, they're arresting them. All of them are going missing. So guys, we need to get this out. We need your support. See, and it talks about how we need to get it all out. Guys, everybody needs to know about all of this. This is very important, and this is the 2 scientists, they believe, that went and got it. And sorry guys, I'm really cold. And then here's 4 more. So guys, just know, if you want to go watch this video on YouTube, you can. There's the name of it, Chinese Researcher Removed. Okay? Now, I know this video's been long. If you hung in there with me, God bless you. Thank you so much. And keep these families in your prayers. Keep these countries in your prayers. Keep our own country in your prayers. We have to stand together. If you look at this, you'll also see helicopters. They can actually take a helicopter and spray stuff all over whatever area you're in. I mean, it's so possible to do anything with these engineered with all of these engineered pathogens and the weaponized. All they're doing are tweaking severe viruses and making them a lot more lethal than they are. So God bless all of you and your families, and keep all these poor souls in our prayers. God bless you all, and I hope you all found this informative, and please help get this information out. Bye guys.